Connect. Okay, we're connected. All right, guys. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to go over a couple of the things on the book table that I would consider really essential in some of the things that you guys are doing, and we'll talk about a little bit why, too. We're going to go into muscle testing towards the end. We're going to do a map at the end. EMFs. We all have frequency. Your body is electric. You've been learning how that's electric through this whole class, how the oils all have frequency. Y'all feel free to come forward and sit up closer or sit back or whatever you choose. Hi, everybody. We're at the intensive. Everyone want to scream and shout hi. We're all here. We got a crowd of people who are in their intensive here today, and they're a little tired. They're a little oily, but we're having fun. So anyway, but the EMFs will go into a little bit more once we do the muscle testing portion of this. But basically, we're all frequency, and the radiation coming from the lights and the microwaves and the electrical things and the walls and all this stuff affects the body, and some people more than others. You can Google and check out what radiation does to the body. We don't have a microwave in our house because even if it's plugged in and in your home, it's setting off radiation. That's like the worst thing you can have in your home for radiation. It's illegal in all the countries except for us. Microwaves are. Yes. And if you go to the gas station, it'll say on there, don't stand in front of this if you're pregnant. Well, what if you're not pregnant? Does that mean you're totally fine? No. So, but they just, anyway. And I found out because Dana Kamak and I were in England 2009? No. She used to know. And we went to go make tea. And I had always got up and put a cup in the mug in my microwave, and I'd nuke it and put my tea in the bag, and then I would drink it. So we got up a little early. We're staying at some people's house in England, and we're looking everywhere. We can't find the microwave. I'm like, who doesn't have a microwave? And when they wake up, we ask them, and they're like, why would you have a microwave? Those are against the law, and that's, a radiation thing, and da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, well, we're just making water, Well, guess what? If you nuke the water, and then you put your bag in it, the tea becomes nuked. The water is nuked, and it kills anything that would be good for you in the tea, and then you just drink it. And so now, especially if you use plastics and put it in there, that's a whole nother story. So get rid of your microwave. But but the EMFs will help. There's a plug-in that'll cover 2,000 square feet, and that helps a lot with the stuff off the computers. The Wi-Fi is the second worst, and your cell phones. And I would encourage all of you, yes, we have cell phones. I'm not saying throw your cell phones out. I will say iPhones have the least radiation if you're going to have a cell phone. And I will say put it on speakerphone and hold it like this, or even put it down when you're talking as much as possible. Never put it up to your ear. And not saying I never have. I do sometimes. But I'm just saying if you can, hold it away and or don't even hold it as you're talking. And do that thing. And don't do the Bluetooth and all that mess. So we'll go into that a little bit more. But these you can put on your cell phones, on your microwave if you have one. The plug-ins, you can put them on your laptops, your iPads. And what it does is it takes the negative ions or the radiation and it switches them up. So there's still energy coming out, but it's positive. And it's going to your body and affecting you in a positive way with the same amount of energy, but positive. So... And we have tested like 15 different of these companies because they're all over the place. And Dr. Lucky tested these in particular because they actually frequency in music, the whole Hebrew Bible's in here, like a lot of different things, smells and oils and different things. The people who created this are actually from Israel. They're worshipers and they're big-time scientists, and so everything in here supports Israel, number one. They put all the proceeds towards funding Israel, but just because of the whole everything else that you're getting with this. But on another note, on a science level, when we tested some of these other companies, they may test you like an inch or two away, and some of these were testing up to a block away of protection. So, you know, you could wear like a necklace, because obviously if you're going to put this on a cell phone, but you go out wherever out of your house, and you know, if you got your cell phone with you, it's going to cover your cell phone, but it may not cover you. So there's necklaces, there's stuff, you could just stick one of these in your pocket and carry it around with you, because if you go outside, there's wires and different things, but these are all really good. So that's that. I don't know if you guys saw these. These are one of my favorite things to carry on my backpack. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. You can pick like whatever oils that you choose. It's just a little packet here. It's even got labels, and I've used this at the bank, at Walmart, you know, whatever. I've been in line and saw someone sneeze or saw someone doing like this and they needed it, you know, something. I'd say, hey, you know, I got some peppermint. You don't have to use it if you want to, but if you want to, put your hand out. I'll stick it on there. They do this. They love it. You get their information. You call them when you get home. They order. So, I mean, it's RC usually, peppermint, lavender for burns. It's a great little way to be a disciple, like straight up. Always have your oils and not carry a big bag like that one over there. This is a great little pouch. Definitely some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is conscious language. And these two books, we're going to go into mapping. These are just, I don't even know what to say. I choose to know the words of how powerful these books have been for me and changed my life. It is The Game of Life and Imagination Activation. And then, of course, conscious language, number one. Like, if you can change your mouth and your mind, you're going to change everything. And so some of the skills that we're going to talk about today are not going to be just about your business. That'll be tomorrow. But today we're talking about your life and your health and your families. So the CD set can come with that too. These are some I am statements. This is a little $12 deal. This is a little $10 deal. Some of this, like this, is not on anywhere on the internet. So you can get this here and here alone. This is Gary Young talking for like 2 hours on everything from the C word, weight loss, chronic fatigue, Alzheimer's, high blood pressure, lupus, diabetes, thyroid issues, hormone, autism, kidney stones, bipolar depression, and more. And yes, that's not compliant, but we all sign pieces of paper saying we won't do that, so no one share this. I'm just telling you. So this is what, this is only here. So, and those are like $15. It's 2 CDs, and I think it's like 3 or 4 hours. Dr. Lucky has his book. You guys have heard me. He was someone that I have trained under and continue to train under. He's an MD, but he's also quantum. And then Stacy Kimbrell is someone that was actually with me in the clinic in Ecuador. We were both there given a couple weeks to live, and we both got out of there after doing IVs of frankincense, thieves 3 days, and then frankincense on the 4th day, thieves 3 days, frankincense on the 4th day. If any of you guys want to see my blood work from before and after, I have live pictures of live blood, and you can see what it looked like. Cancer looks a lot like mold, and 80% of all mold is actually falsely diagnosed. 80% of cancer is misdiagnosed mold. And it can be treated with oils. And unfortunately, if most people are treated with chemo. And cancer can be treated with oils. And yes, again, I signed a piece of paper. I'm not compliant right now. So this is going to come down in like 48 hours. Just telling you. So my story, I'm going to give you a little bit about me. Does anyone know my story? So you have some of my background. My background is actually ministry. I was in ministry, and I still consider myself in ministry. Since, I've always wanted to be in ministry, and since I was a little girl. And I was ordained in 2004, but I worked for John Paul Jackson and some other people and did teachings all across the United States, went to Africa, a bunch of different countries, and would teach for him, mostly on dreams and visions. I have a whole teaching set over there and different books on dreams and how God talks to you in dreams and the symbolism of all that on a biblical basis, colors, numbers, all those things. And I found myself pretty sick. And I was traveling a lot, 4 days a week, and I'd come home, sometimes, catching up and just constantly and whatever. I was about 100 pounds overweight at one point because they would put me on medicine after medicine after medicine because I wasn't feeling good, and they'd say, well, this is your thyroid, or this chronic fatigue, or it's all these things, and they kept just jacking up more medicines till I had a small suitcase that I carried with me, was all meds. I had charts, and I had, this one goes in the morning, and that one can't be with food, and this one has to be with milk, and that's got to be with water, and these have to be in the afternoon, and these can't go together, and there are all these rules about all this stuff. I was in the doctor a lot, which any of you know isn't a good place to be, because a lot of times you're in a waiting room for however long, and you can catch up little critters while you're there. Never use their pens. Have people, bring your own pen when you go to the doctor, if you have to go to the doctor, just because of MRSA and staff. I have medical people that are practitioners that work with me, and they put lemongrass and RC on them every time they go into a hospital before they even go, because it's just crazy. And even surgeries and all that, it's on the instruments. I do everything I can not to have to go into a wellness center or a clinic unless it's like a naturopathic type situation. And I think I caught strep a couple times just being in there and different things. So I'd go in for a thyroid check and leave with strep, cancel, So it was just like, and then my kids would all get it. And so I was super tired. I was very disheartened by the system. You go in and they would just talk to you for 5 minutes and write you a script and see you next week and send you off to a new doctor. And it was doctor after doctor and more meds. And I wasn't feeling better, and I was gaining a lot of weight. And I went to Mississippi. I was actually teaching in Mississippi on dreams and visions at this church there. And this lady kept telling me about this Dr. Lucky. Dr. Lucky, you should go see this Dr. Lucky. And he's actually in Mississippi. He's in, he was in Meridian. He's in Jackson now. His name is Thomas Lucky. He's amazing if you haven't seen him. Hey, Julie, your sister's here. Okay. So, they kept telling me, he's like a church-going guy, he's all these things. And I honestly didn't want to try anymore. I was just done, cancel. But at the same time, so I went and he started talking to me and telling me that most dis-ease, 86% of dis-ease is actually trauma-related or some kind of emotional situation. And he told me, like you guys learned last night or the night before on whatever day we are, this is the frontal system, the frontal lobe, behind that's your limbic, and your limbic is attached to your olfactory. And so as you smell things, specifically, it can go right into your memories. And you smell, like he used the example, cookies and grandma's, or, cologne and my man over there. I smell Polo to this day, and I'm like in 10th grade or 11th grade with my love, it just brings you back. Certain things and smells get tied in to your limbic system. And the way your limbic system works is it's like the librarian of your emotions. And so as we are exposed to different things in life, because we all get to do life, right? And we are exposed to different things environmentally and family issues and boyfriends or husbands or kids going through stuff, or just, accidents and things. Your limbic system basically, as the librarian, chooses, can she deal with this right now, or can he deal with this right now, or should we shelf this for a while? And if you're in the position to deal with it or process, it's going to defrag between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. And that's if you're asleep. Good to be asleep, 3 to 5. Actually, it's good to be asleep from 10 at night until in the morning. If you can go to bed from 10 to 12, you can hit that 10 o'clock mark. That 10 to 12 period is your highest healing level. And it's like you're getting 4 hours instead of 2 hours. That's when HGH and everything pours out. So if you're not sleeping, you're not refueling, you're not regenerating, you're not getting, your best self. And so a lot of times, that's where we get the hiccup, is not sleeping. But from 3 to 5, we defrag, meaning the limbic system, your reticular activating system, all these things in your brain go, okay, what can we do without right now? Because there's only so much data we can take, and let's make room for important stuff. So we're going to let go of some things in that 3 to 5. Now, again, that's when you would process whatever happened during the day, or what so-and-so said about you, or somebody cut you off in traffic or things, and we're taking in so much. We're taking in right now, y'all are listening to me, maybe, and you are making grocery lists and thinking about what you could do when you get home, and maybe you got a call before you got here and you're eating, but you're also adapting to energy and gravity and the temperature and the lighting. I mean, there are so many things that even the subconscious is doing automatically that we're not even thinking about. Am I pumping my heart right now? We don't have to think about that. We're just doing it. Thank you, God. Like, there's some things that are just running its own course. And so as things happen, again, that limbic system will go, is she like good to process from 3 to 5? And if you're not, then it takes that information and it shelves it, and it will basically it'll pick a body part and go, let's just stick it here for a little while until she's ready, because she's just not ready. Either she's awake, or she's digesting, or she's just not in a good place to process. Now, reasons why things would store would be like if it's something repetitive, over and over and over, a same pattern that keeps coming up, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I thought I dealt with this, and you're recycling or going around the mountain. If it's something traumatic regarding like an authority figure, whether it's like a pastor or a husband or a parent or a dad, a parent is a dad, or a mom, or a coach, or somebody that you've looked up to did something to you or against you or betrayed you, then sometimes that's not easy to process. And so your body in your protection will go, can we just eat and do movies and take care of kids right now and not deal with that? So repetitive, if it's sudden, like a sudden death, God forbid, or car accident or things like that, then that's a little bit, can be more difficult to process. If it's something like the top 1 million things you would never do to somebody else and then they just did it to you, sometimes, have you ever been there like, I just can't believe that. Like, what were they thinking? I choose to know. I choose to understand. Like, why would they, I've done all this stuff, and where did it even come from? Those kind of internal things that kind of like spin and spin and spin and spin and spin, and as much as you want to go like, get me off this merry-go-round, when that spinning's going on and you don't just choose to accept and go, okay, it is, whatever, I'm not them, let's just move on. Sometimes your body just goes, hey, I'm going to protect you, I'm going to shelf this, we're just going to deal with this later. So when we process, good, but if it's locked into the body, it can sit dormant in your body a minute, or it can be a 10-year decade thing. And what happens is, when your body is ready, it'll show up as a signal or a symptom and go, okay, I'm ready, let's deal with this. And it usually is some sort of pain or inflammation or something. And it can be like a knee, a thyroid, a sudden whatever. And you can go to the doctor and they could do all the tests, but they probably won't be able to figure out what's going on, because they're going to say, well, this could be even in your head. We don't know what's going on, but let's just give you a drug and we'll make the inflammation go away. And they don't always deal with the root. Now, I'm not saying everybody does that, because not everybody does. There are some great doctors out there. I'm just telling you, in my experience and what I've seen so far in some places, is that's been my experience. If you go to Dr. Lucky, he's going to go, let's find the root. And most naturopathic people, and hopefully all of you where you're at or you wouldn't be here, are going to be looking for root causes of things and deal with the thing. And the reason why is because if your car light comes on because your oil needs to be changed and it's blinking, beeping, beeping, being annoying, you can like sit around and not deal with it, or you can bring it to a mechanic and the mechanic can say, I have a solution. Let's just unplug the light and make the beep stop. Right? What's going to happen in a couple weeks with your car? Not a lot of good stuff. Your transmission is going to go out. And so what happens with your body is, when we shut down the signals, whether it's drugs to cover up and block the receptors from feeling pain anymore or whatever it is, your signals will get louder and louder and louder and louder until you may have issues staying on the planet. Because God is going to be like, okay, I choose to look in the mirror and see myself. Like, let's get you pure. Let's get this cleaned up. Let's see this full, and not in part, but let's see this in full. And so these signals, when you start having whatever's going on with your body, if we could look at that as a signal instead of, oh great, what's going on now, and let's just try to dumb it down and cover it up and deal with it, we would be in a lot better place. And I'm glad that you guys are here and that you're leading on that, to actually look for what we can do to deal with that. And we're going to talk about the emotional, they're even doing a demonstration on emotional healing, or did you already do that? Emotional release. So there's a whole big thing on that we're going to talk about this later on too. So, and you'll be able to do this. By the time you're leaving, you're going to do it, you're going to see it demonstrated, and you're going to work on people and yourself to get to the root issues and find out. Raindrop is a really good way to do it, whether you're even trying to do an emotional release, because it trips the whole electrical system in the spine, and people can have emotional releases just sitting on the table. I've had it happen a lot. I've had people cry, even in regular massage without oils. What's that? You did? Yeah, I have several times. And actually, I don't want to get anybody mad, but there's certain stretches in yoga that will do the exact same thing. I don't worship yoga. I don't practice the yoga religion. Yoga is a word for union, and there are stretches that happen in yoga that will do the same thing a raindrop will do. It trips the whole electrical system, and there is a oil that's released from the pineal gland called Christos, and that goes back into your spine. It basically sets off an electrical system through your whole back, just like raindrop and frequency. It comes back up. They call it Santa Claus because it's like going down the chimney and coming back up. And as it comes back up, it starts searching for dormant brain cells to activate. And that's why sometimes people get clarity during an emotional release. You may have a memory or think of things, or during yoga where you're just like, oh, now I know this, and why didn't I see that yesterday? And there's just this epiphany because God's like, okay, let's deal with this now. So when I went to Dr. Lucky, I had him test me through muscle testing, which we're going to share in a little bit, and some other machines, because he's got like Russian and German and Chinese and whatever different energy machines, and they found 29 traumas in my body, or he did, and we didn't know how many were dormant, how many were active. I knew that there was a lot of pain going on, and I knew if they had all went active that I wasn't interested in experiencing that. I had no idea, and I didn't even care how many were, he couldn't tell me that, and I'm just like, what do we do to fix it? And at that point, he told me essential oils. And honestly, I thought it was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, I just thought, that's just dumb. And I had lots of experience with oils, just like Anthony talked about with the fake ones. I had tons of them in my bag. As a minister, people would give them to me when I would go speak at places. And, he basically told me how when you smell the real kind, and Swiss Aromatics is one company, and Young Living is another company, and those are the only two that I know out of 23 companies that I've ever tested that are real. There are lots of different, the FDA guidelines right now, or that if you have 3% of an oil in a bottle, you can label it 100% therapeutic. And the reason why is because the oil in the bottle is 100%. They don't have to tell you what else is inside of the bottle. And most of the ones that we tested is propylene glycol, which is antifreeze. Antifreeze is not something you want to sniff or diffuse or put on your skin. That's what kills people. That's what kills dogs. It's in a lot of the foods now, too. I'm not going to talk about my own personal things of what I think about conspiracy theories and all that mess right now. But, we have asked, and I have been several times talked to people in Washington and said, why is this? Can we, let's, in the beginning, at this point, I'm whatever, I don't care. And I stopped testing. There's lots of people who bring me oils still and say, well, what about this company? What are that? I stopped doing that years ago because it was a lot of time consuming. And ultimately, there's been so many that have popped up in the last couple years now because they all know that it's a moneymaker, and there's no point in going anywhere else for me. I'm satisfied in the farms that I have seen and the countries that I've been to with Dr. Stewart and with Gary myself. I know the quality. I have farmed myself. I have been to 6 of the farms myself. I have watched him throw out thousands of dollars of stuff because it didn't distill right over and over and over again. The man has top-notch, like Daniel standard kind of stuff, and he won't settle for anything. He threw out some stuff in a field one time because people were arguing in the field, because he said he didn't want the energy of the argument to be in the process. I mean, he is very, very, he is all about pure. And so now there's other companies that have left and taken our stuff and done their thing. And I was telling Angela, one in particular actually puts a synthetic vanilla in their oils, and you can smell it because all of them smell like cotton candy. And there is a science behind that, and the reason is because most people, scientifically proven, are very addicted to sugar. More addicted to sugar than heroin or Coke or whatever, and it's acceptable in America to be addicted to sugar. So people don't look at you and say, oh, it's not a big deal if you're eating like the 5th Twinkie for the day. No one calls the cops, or, he was teasing about the keto police, but, I have my own standards, but I'm saying people don't look at that like heroin, but it is as addictive, and because of that, they know that, so they put it in there because they know if they smell it, there's chemical responses, and people will want to have that or think that that's good, and they'll even think about it, and it'll be in their brain, and it'll light up parts of their brain, but they're also getting the propylene glycol. And we've tested wintergreen and a peppermint and I think it was a cypress, and the wintergreen was 98% not wintergreen. The peppermint was 99% not peppermint. The cypress was 98% not cypress. And the rest of the stuff was just not good. I could tell you more, but that's just, trust me. So I've stuck with it. Now, I ended up getting that main kit. That's probably some of you got. The most people get the premium kit when they started out, all y'all. And that one just had the basics. It's changed a little bit since the one I had. When I got it, we didn't get a free diffuser. So that's like a special deal. And I don't know if they'll keep that forever, but right now if you get the kit, you get a free diffuser, which is like ridiculous, and I don't know how they're making money. But it's really good for all y'all, and it's good for us because we get to present that to people. And for me, when they've talked about taking it away, which I get included on a lot of these decisions with the company, they bring us in and ask us, and I'm always like, well, it's easier because if someone has a diffuser, then the mailman who comes over smells it, and the husband's in on it, and the kids are in on it. And instead, before, when I was starting out with no diffuser, it was just mom. Mom was doing the oils, and that was mom's thing, and she would put her oils on, and nobody else really participated unless you were like doused. So once the diffuser came along as the extra, it really blew up the company in a good, positive way. Cancel, blow up. And, because now everyone was involved. It was, like I said, the UPS guy or whoever came by. I mean, I still have people who come by and go, what is that? That smells so good. And y'all have that experience? Anybody? So I got the main kit. I thought it was stupid. I'm just being honest. I thought this is dumb. But I was also in that position at that place in my life where you could have told me, if you put ketchup on your head every day, it's going to make you better. And I would have done it because that's how much I was in pain, and I was just ready, and I had tried it all. So whatever, I'm going to try it. And he said that basically when you smell the real stuff, it goes past the frontal lobe into the olfactory system, and it starts releasing those traumas that have been trapped 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, 10 minutes, whatever. And I got my kit, and 16 weeks later, not only had I released 80 pounds, just completely not changing my diet, which was mostly Doritos and Coca-Cola and Rice Krispies at the time. And not bragging, that's terrible, but as I was traveling, that ended up being, the airports are way different now than 20 years ago, but and I mean, I just didn't care. I didn't know better, and I didn't really, anyway. So I don't do that anymore. Sometimes I don't even eat. my whole family's like, you forgot to eat today. And I'm just like, oh yeah, let's make something. And then sometimes he's making food, bringing it to me going, you have to eat now. And I'm just like, I forgot. It's 9 o'clock at night and I haven't eaten. So fasting and stuff will do that. And I have whole videos on that. But 16 weeks was off 30 different prescription meds, dropped 80 pounds. And when I felt better, after 2 weeks, I went from having 21 days out of the month migraines sometimes, and that whole 2 weeks, I didn't have a migraine, and I didn't feel like I had the flu. I had felt, I'm gonna cry. I felt like I had the flu for 6 years up until then, and I forgot what it felt like to feel good. And now I was like feeling good, and I was just like, I had energy. I could be with my kids. I could go outside. I could walk the dog, you know, I could brush my teeth, you know, I was sleeping, and I'm really all about data and science, and so I was like, you know what, I feel better, and it's been 2 weeks, you know, let's call Guinness Book of World Records, because this is the longest I've ever been without a migraine cancel, and but I you know, and I kept doing it, and then like my pants were falling down, and my clothes were getting big, and I was like, I'm still eating Doritos, and I was just like, I wonder what would happen if I tried to lose weight. You know, I was in a size 22 pant and I got down to a 4. You know, it was like, you know, I kept buying clothes thinking this will stop, and then I just kept going and going, because when you hold on to trauma, you hold on to weight. You're not only carrying dis-ease, but you will hold on to weight, and it will not go, because you're in survival, and your body will puff up out of protection because you think everyone's out to get you and someone's going to hurt you. And just like an animal at the shelter, what do the animals do when another big animal comes in? They blow up. They make themselves as big as possible because they don't want anyone to come near them. And you know, your body does the same thing. If it's in fight or flight, it will blow up, and it will stay until it feels safe to come down. And as I started releasing things, now what was I doing to do that? I didn't have a book. I didn't have a person to call. You know, Dr. Lucky charges $200 an hour or whatever, so I wasn't going to, you know, I just met him. I wasn't going to call him every day. So, and there wasn't anything on the internet, y'all. Y'all are so lucky to have Facebooks and email, you know, like, it's everywhere. You can Google, you could just not even try, and you're going to find out about oils now. But it wasn't stylish, you know, 10, 12 years ago. Matter of fact, I got a little bit of hate. People thought, you know, she's like going off the deep end. She's doing the witchcraft stuff. She's, you know, whatever the weird stuff they were saying. And people thought, well, we're not sure what's going on with her. She like left the ministry or something. She's like talking about oils all the time. But up until that point, I would be booked sometimes 2 years in advance. And when I would show up for these places that I had been for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, and we go back, I swear, like I would walk in and they didn't even know who I was. I stood in the back in Holland one time. I went and I met with these, I had kind of like the same girls and guys that we all did conferences together. And I walked in. Do you guys know who Matt Sorger is, or Jason Upton? He's a worship guy. Well, we're in Holland, and I'm meeting up with them, and I walk in, and I had been there like 3 times, and I'm at the registration desk, and I was like, oh, I'm here, you know, and they were like, yes, ma'am, you need to register, blah, 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 and I was just like, no, it's me. And like, it took like 10 minutes for them to figure, oh, you know, and it wasn't just the weight. It was like, you look happy and like young and like different. And I was like, okay, you know, it's like, what are you trying to say? What do I look like before? So, same in California. I remember, you guys know Graham Cook. He's awesome. But I was in the back, and I was about to do a meeting with him, and he stood there. He talked for me 10 minutes straight. And then he was like, do I know you? And I was just like, 10 years I've known you. And he's like, your voice sounds so familiar. And I'm like, it's Sharnael, you know. And so it was crazy. And then these same churches were like, hey, I don't know what you're doing, but what's the deal? And I would tell them my story, you know. And they'd say, well, when you come back, can you teach our people on that? Because the prayer lines and the bulletins and all the people, I mean, they were sending me people. They were sending, I mean, I would come home, my voicemail was full, my emails were full, and then I would be on in the next place, and I would just, so many people were calling, and that's whenever I was like, I felt happy to be able to tell my story, but I also felt like I have to know more. It's because I choose to help everybody. I want everybody to feel as happy and as good as I do. And so I came to a thing just like this. And, I wasn't even like thinking I'm going to do this and I'm going to start raindropping people. I came because I wanted to get the 28 hours of knowledge of how does this work with your chemistry and how does this work with emotions, and really jumped in and read all these books and did everything to just pour myself into it so I could be the best helper. And the healing oils of the Bible, my gosh, I met David Stewart right after that, and that just that was crazy. But when I went back to Dr. Lucky and he tested me, I had 4.5 traumas left in my body. And they're probably gone now, or maybe I picked up a couple, I choose to know. But, I just continue to use my oils and, to continue to be as conscious as possible about what I'm thinking about and what I'm feeling and, what I'm talking about and, processing and getting to sleep and just doing the stuff and keeping on helping people. So that's kind of my background. Now, I'm going to get you to Google this man named Clive Baxter. And I want to explain to you just a little bit about this. Clive, C-L-I-V-E, Baxter, as in your Baxter. So Clive Baxter was the pioneer of the lie detector. And he's done all these studies with people and lie detectors. And he's got like 30 years background. I think he's passed away now. But I had grabbed a couple of his books, and he was teaching about how he went and got his plants and wondered what happens if I put a plant on a lie detector test. Because when you go on a lie detector, which, how many of y'all have been on a lie detector? Probably at least 2 or 3 of y'all in here, right? So, they got the thing around your waist and your hand, and you're testing your galvanic stuff, and it's not like they know you're lying, but your body will stress. And so a lot of times people may not even be the bad guy, but because they're so stressed out, they fail because they're stressing out, but your temperature changes, your breathing changes, all that, your heart rate and all that stuff. And your sweat, so he thought, well, we could do the plants and see what happens. As they would talk to the plants, they would yell at the plants, they would be nice to the plants, and they were seeing how they would respond. And really interesting is they noticed that, and you can Google all this if you want to Google him and Messages in the Water. There's a book called Messages in the Water. And it talks about what you're thinking, feeling, and everything, how it affects your water. And so Clive, he had this experiment where he was going to have somebody come in and take a knife after the plants and just chop it up and just be mean and yell at it. And of course the plants responded in stress, and they were just like, why are you doing this to me? Not really, but whatever a plant would say if they're being chopped up, right? And what's crazy is, scientists don't just do one thing one time and they're like, oh, that's it, write it down, book it, it's over. They do things over and over and over to prove and make sure that they're going to have the same response. And this lady was told, now I want you to go back in 2 weeks, and I want you to, have the knife and do the same thing. And as soon as she walked in, the plant was hooked up. And when it felt whatever, it knew, it remembered, and it started responding as if she was going to do something. And they were like, whoa, they weren't expecting that, because it's like she didn't even come over here yet. She didn't even start the process. And this plant was picking up on this stuff. So then they come back and they're like, okay, I want you to come back tomorrow, and this time when you come back, I want you to just take some scissors and I want you to prune the plant. Just take off all the bad stuff, because does anyone know what pruning is? Yes. So what is the point of pruning? What's that? Yeah, so get all the dead things out so it can stay alive and thrive, and more than survive, it can thrive. So it's a good thing. So she comes in with her scissors and she's doing her thing and pruning everything. But before she could get to it, it didn't freak out at all. It was totally calm, and it was just happy, actually. Now, the plant had a memory of this lady, and now it knew that this was good. And so it was okay, now they did different things with matches to set it on fire and watch the difference. They he would record himself leaving his home 40 miles away, and he would look at his watch, and all the plants would be hooked up wherever, and he would say out loud, "Hey, I'm going home. I'll see you in a little," or "I'm going to the office. I'll see you in a minute. I'm so happy to see you," talking to the plants 40 miles away. And when he would get there at the same time that he had said whatever, the plants had responded. There's no time and space. They have a memory. They know the intent. This is so much going on now that the FBI had got a hold of it, and they started taking plants and animals out of the crime scenes, and instead of doing the lineup, they were having somebody come in with the plant, and the plant was able to tell and detect who the bad guy was. And we don't have the laws in place yet for you to get your cat or your plant on the stand and be meow 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 meow. But this is where science is going. A matter of fact, David Van Covering, who just passed away in February last month, he was commissioned by the government to create an instrument that you could take an object off of a person or a room out of a crime scene and be able to put it on something, just like a record, a record or a CD. It's how do they get music on here and be able to put it on here? Somehow they were going to take the earring off of the dead lady and have it play back what happened in the room. And he was working on that. I don't know if he finished it before he died. But this is where we're going. Now, why is this important? Because the blood of what's in those alive plants with intelligence and memory is in your bottles. It knows intent. It understands frequency. It has memory. You can have 5 oils to your name and really need the one that came on the Zyto, but if your intent is to really have the one that's on the Zyto that you don't have yet, you can actually use these oils that know that that's what you really need, and they can morph into what your body needs and where it needs to go, because it's that strong and that powerful. And even to the point where they've taken, when you go travel and you have to go through the electrical whatever, the what is it?
It's like a scanner.
The scanner thing, the radiation deal, which I always opt out or go around, but that'll kill the oils in the bottle, and within 4 hours they heal themselves. They will test them again, and they're working, and they're thriving. So the oils are super, super powerful, and they're very, very helpful, and there are a ton of scriptures that support all of that. So y'all have any questions from where we are at here just on those things? That's kind of cool though, right? Yeah, so yes. So now let's talk about muscle testing, since we're talking about that. Where's Amy? Where'd she go? You want to help me with that? Is there anyone in here who's never been muscle tested? A few people. Okay.
Myself.
So how do you test yourself?
Well, I just do the facing north one.
Facing north one. Okay, so do you mind if I use it as an example? Which way is north, y'all? Y'all have a compass that way?
I don't know.
I would check my phone. Okay, so come on up here, Angel. Let's see real quick. Hope this works. I'm going to get you to stand right here. And then we're going to map, and y'all could go ahead and head out here. Hop up here. So we're going to face, is that north? Oh, it's coming. So your body is electric, and your body is smart. And your DNA, you may not remember everything, but your DNA remembers everything. And so you could be in a room, and your car keys are in there, and you may not mentally remember, but your blood and your brain has seen it, and it's been stored there. And so you could test your body. Your body will actually tell you, is it in the room? Is it somewhere else? Whatever. You could test, because God in you knows. And his DNA is in you, and he knows everything. And you probably have it stored somewhere too. So that's north? That way. Okay. So one of the ways we can do it is, and I choose to know why, there's a whole book called Scriptural Essence, and they may have it over here. They used to. That teaches on the biblical reason why you have to face north. It's a whole Levitical thing. It's a long, long thing. Scriptural Essence has been out of print for a long, long time. You would love that book if you don't have it. So, but you have to face north. So, and I'm teaching you this because you may not have Zyto. Zyto is great, and it will help build your business, and it will help keep your doctors away, because you could just test and be preventative all the time and know what's going on. And if you don't have one, I can help you figure out how to get one. I'll get you a link, and we can get you a discount and the whole thing. And I'll talk about that tomorrow, on how you can put that in your practice and charge, and how much to charge, and we'll do all that tomorrow at lunch. I forgot to say that. So if any of you are interested, instead of tomorrow night, if y'all want to do the dating tomorrow, that'll be Q&A for business and how to put this in your practice. But facing north, so you're going to be like a couple, and y'all can do this at home, but you're going to be like maybe 5 to 7 inches away, facing north. And let me find something. What could we give her? Does anybody have like something really bad for you, like candy or cigarettes or candy?
Really?
Let's do it.
My weakness.
Candy.
No chocolate.
Oh, chocolate. So you'll take whatever. You could be at the grocery store or in your house or wherever, and you'll take whatever the object is. You hold it, and you're facing north, and then you just ask yourself. You don't even have to say it out loud. Does my body need this? So I'm gonna let you hold this, and just say, does my body need this? And you're either going to bend a little bit forward, or you're going to go a little bit back. So go ahead. You say it out loud so we can hear you this time.
Does my body need this?
You see how she went back? Okay. It's very subtle, but y'all saw she went back?
Yes.
Because her body will tell her, get away. You don't want this.
The more you do it, the easier it is to feel.
Yes. What about coffee? Let's try coffee.
Is it flavored? It's got keto, cocoa in it.
Okay. So, does my body need this?
Does my body need this?
She's already gone back.
Yeah,
I
So-
haven't drank coffee in 5 years.
Oh, well, that's good. She hasn't drank coffee.
Today.
Do we have like a Bible in here? Where's that?
I saw one on that table, but it over there in that corner, I saw one in that corner, but
All right, so hold this. Just say, hold it right here. Does my body need this?
Does my body need
You see
this?
she went forward?
I actually felt that in my knees.
She's so do it again. Does my body need this?
Does my body need this?
She's shaking her seat. Did you see her go forward?
Yeah.
And you can have that Bible, by the way, because I don't know whose it is, so it's yours now. So thank you for helping me. Did you guys see that? Well, you know what? I don't know if you saw that, but she went forward for the Bible. I'm going to have one more person. You haven't.
She lost her car keys today. I don't know if you can help her find her.
Okay. You guys could test later. Let me get Joyce. Is it Joyce? Let me get Joyce up here real quick. I'm going to teach you 3 different ways to do it, okay? Because there's a bunch, but we got Joyce here, all the way from Maryland. So the other way you could test is, this one you don't have to face north, okay? You just put your hand out, and I'm going to have you, as strong as you can, you're going to hold your hand up, and we'll practice after, but here, I'm going to get you in here, so you're, okay. I forgot about you guys at home. I'm so sorry. So, so as strong as you can, and your feet a little bit apart. Now I'm just going to say, so I'm going to take 2 fingers. Can you move this back just a little bit? Like maybe 4 inches. Keep going, keep going. Okay, good. Perfect. Thank you, Amy. So I'm going to take 2 fingers, and I'm going to apply right on her wrist, just a tiny little bit pressure. Okay, so is your name Joyce?
Yes.
Okay, say my name is Joyce.
My name is Joyce.
Okay. Is that as strong as you are?
No.
Okay, so be as strong as you
Okay.
can.
To not move?
Yeah, so to hold, to push against me. I'm going to push
Okay.
down, and you try to hold it. Okay, so my name is Joyce.
My name is Joyce.
Okay, wait, that's way better. Okay, so y'all felt that? She's strong. Now I want you to say my name's Santa Claus.
My name is Santa Claus.
Okay, so she didn't even say it yet, but her body was like, I'm not Santa Claus. So, now one time I tested somebody and said, do you love your wife? And it was like bad. I'll go, let's next question. I was like, so I don't ask that anymore. So, How about like, okay, my name is Joyce. Say it again.
My name is Joyce.
Okay. Now say, I'm the Easter Bunny.
I'm the Easter Bunny.
Okay, so and think about words. You can go ahead and put your hand down. Think about words, what people say to you or over you or in you or through you or things you even write down. You can go weak by reading stuff. I have been in Dr. Lucky's office several times, and he's trying to test me for a medicine or a supplement, and I'll go weak because it had the word Ecuador on the bottle, because I was in the hospital in Ecuador, and that memory there was for me. So he had to clear that, and then I tested, and I could take the medicine now. But it's very, one time I tested a whole kit, just in case you ever do a demonstration. Don't ever give someone a kit and say, does my body need this? Because she went back. And I thought, well, that's terrible, because, I want her to have a kit. And, it was in front of like 300 people that we did this thing. And I go, well, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me take the kit apart. And she tested that she needed 9 of the 10 oils. But there was one oil in there that she didn't need. Her body went back, and it was like, so it took the whole thing back. Does that make sense? So, and you have to be specific. You can even say, go ahead and do this. Now, I was in the position where I was traveling a lot, and sometimes I would have 14, 15 requests to come in a month to go places. And I was like, I choose to be where God wants me to be and where I'm supposed to be. And I would get to where I would even test about my schedule and say, am I supposed to be in California this weekend or whatever? Well, I didn't realize you got to be super specific. So if you're just like, should I go to my grandma's house? Well, one day, right? So you got to be real specific. But if you're like, should I go to my grandma's on Friday night for her birthday party? Week, or should I be at this other thing, strong, or vice versa? You know what I mean? So is there something, so do something in your head that we don't even have to know about, but you may have a question. Okay, so tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. My name is Joyce.
My name is Joyce.
Okay, that's strong. Now ask the question again.
Okay.
That's pretty weak. Okay, so you have your question. And you can ask dumb things like whatever. I always do, like my birthday is, or my name is, or something that you know the answer to the person. So you have a strong, and then I ask something really dumb right after, so we know what the weak is and we know what the strong is, and you have like a baseline of what the person really is strong and what the person really is weak. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Thank you. Okay, so have you muscle tested before, Chelsea? Is anyone else? Who else hasn't muscle tested? Everyone's muscle tested?
Everybody's been muscle tested.
You want a muscle test? Is it Kathy? Come on up. Do you mind if I use you? We got Kathy Poston here from Texas, right? Yes. Okay, so this we can all do. Okay, don't do it yet, but you're going to take this finger, this is your pastor finger, and you're going to take your thumb, and you're going to squeeze it like Spider-Man, like this, as hard as you can. Come on, pop up here, Kathy. So she's going to squeeze these 2 fingers, and she's going to open them up this way, and you can't cheat by using other fingers, okay? You're going to do these 2 fingers, and you're going to squeeze as hard as possible, and then I'm going to take my little 2 fingers, and I'm going to go right where the bone is on the joint of these 2, and I'm going to pull, and she's going to squeeze really hard, and I'm going to try to pull. You keep it together, and I'm going to try to pull. So okay. My name is Kathy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just say, I love to eat dog food.
I love to eat. I love to eat dog food. Oh my God. Okay.
See how she went weak? She did. She went
if she'd
weak.
been strong, you'd have been laughing.
Yeah, thank God she's not strong for that one. I'd be like, what? What kind of dog food?
What's wrong with this woman?
Okay, so say you're from Texas?
I'm from
Is that
Texas.
where you're from?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
From Dallas, Texas.
All right, so I'm from Dallas, Texas. Okay, say I'm from Michigan.
I'm from Michigan. See,
All right.
I lived there too.
Oh, crap. I was going to say. See, and she was strong, and I'm like, that's not right. Okay, say I'm married to someone from Iceland.
I'm married to, yeah.
You are? No.
I am married, but not to Iceland.
Okay, let's say, let me make it short and not so, what can I do that's so dumb? I'm the tooth fairy.
I'm too.
Okay, there she goes.
That went.
She's not the tooth fairy.
That went.
So now you can go ahead and have a seat. You can be at the grocery store, and you could test. You know, is this cereal good for me? Is this bad for me? Because you may have an allergy, or you may whatever. You know, I like if I don't have anyone around, I do the best I can with the swaying one. When my kids are around, sometimes, or my husband, I'll get them to do the finger thing. But if you're at the grocery store and you're telling your kids, pull my finger, sometimes they don't like that. Just giving you a thing. Do you have something you want to add? Because we were going to do the EMF thing.
Can I use you? Well, I'll do the EMF, but can I use you to show another trick? With
Yeah,
frankincense?
do it.
Okay. So I do it. I'm gonna stand where. I'm gonna trade places with you. So
Okay.
I'm gonna push on you. Now you stand there and be,
Okay.
be the push-e. I'm gonna be the pusher.
Okay.
Okay. So now you be strong
This way or this way or which way you want to do it?
with your arm.
Okay.
All right. Can people see me?
Yeah, and
Hi,
some people
everyone.
can do legs if you're on a table during massage. You can have them put their knee up and you can push their leg and they'll be strong, or it'll go straight down and they'll be weak.
Any target muscle technically works.
Oh wait, I'm sitting here doing both. Okay.
No, don't do both.
So I am Sharnael. Okay.
Say I'm the Easter Bunny.
I'm the Easter Bunny. Oh God.
Just had to make sure.
Crap, I thought I was.
Okay, I gotta get two.
Technically I kinda am for my kids, but
That's right. So I could have stayed up. Okay, I'm gonna block your signal. Be strong though.
yeah.
Be strong. I'm sorry. I just like it.
Yeah,
Twice.
remind me to show you this after. Okay, go ahead.
All right. This is frankincense.
Frankincense.
Frankincense oil. Be strong. So y'all have to feel this to fully appreciate it, but I'm manually blocking her electrical signal. Remember, your nail is an insulator, and I'm blocking it on her pineal gland, right? And it makes you weak. You could try this. Everybody will be weak when you put your nail up like that. But as long as she holds that bottle, and it's almost empty, like there's a couple drops in there. It's not even a full bottle.
Yes, and let's do.
And you could try this with other brands of frankincense,
And it won't work.
work. It only works with Young Living.
Same like with your cell phone. Like, may I hold your cell phone? So there's no EMF on here, right? So go ahead. I'm trying.
I barely have to her goes. It goes
But
down super
I take this and I just hold it.
easy. Yep.
Yeah. 'cause
Let me-
this
let me
blocks
share.
it all from
Let me
hitting
share
it.
one more thing about this. I have tested a lot of these cell phone buttons, and typically I could take a person's cell phone, they've got the button on the back, and if I put the button side against your hand and touch, you'd be strong. If I flip the phone over, they're weak. Like that's how tiny bit other brands work. This is the first one I've tested where I can flip your phone all directions and you're strong because it's there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she has one there. Okay, let me get one more person. I'm gonna try. Can I test you real quick? Let me show you something. You guys following this? Isn't it awesome? Okay, so another thing that you can do is if instead of Zydo, if she is like, we'll go this method because I'm gonna use my hand for other things. But are you right? Okay,
Right or
yeah.
left?
Are you right-handed? Okay. I wish I could stand over here, but for the sake, I can test her. Like, is this your strong? What's your first name? Geraldine. This is Geraldine from
Colorado.
Colorado. Awesome. Okay, so this is Geraldine Strong. We're gonna here, hold that. I don't know if you feel the difference on that.
Did you feel it?
I did. Okay, so you can actually test and go like, is it a thyroid issue? Are you strong? Are you trying to be strong? I'm gonna just point in different places. Like if I have a hunch that it might be a kidney something or a thyroid something, you can actually just point in the general area and test. So thyroid stuff, kind of weak. Kidney stuff, stronger. Digestive issues, pineal gland. And you can kind of see what's strong or whatever. And like she said, you can apply oils to those places and she will just night and day be stronger instantly. Where's the hold that. Do you feel the difference?
Can you feel the difference?
So adrenals, thyroid, if you know the biology of what the body is, you can actually test that way and apply the oils and see the before and after. It's a great way for them to see with their eyes and feel with their body that this stuff really works. And you're there to support if you have a hunch and you kind of know, well, this is probably going on. This is what I'm thinking. You could test that way and see. So awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Does that help y'all? Kind of. Y'all are like, I'm just tired. Oh, one more thing. If you test someone and they're opposite of everything that you test, like my name is and they're weak, or my birthday is and they say their birthday and they're weak, they're upside down in their energy. And you can be upside down from an MRI, an x-ray, from not getting enough sleep, from going through those little doodads at the airport. She was upside down for 3 years. And what that means is you kind of, it's just making decisions and everything seems difficult. Energy has to go a certain way for dis-ease to be, and energy has to go a certain way for healing and health to go in that order. I did a test. Some of you may know that I just did a new website, and I was choosing to figure out, did I want to have purple or blue? And I had some of y'all participated, but I put like the two of them next to each other, and I was like, which one do you guys choose? And people were picking whatever. And every time I would look at it, I would feel things in my body. Like I would look at one, and I would feel it lower, and I look at another one, and I'd feel it a different place. And so I blind tested 23 people, and I just sent them a text, and I said, tell me where you feel this in your body when you see this color. And 19 out of 23 people said when they saw the blue, they felt it in their gut or their head, which is your brain and your second brain. 19 out of 23 people said when they saw the purple, they felt it here. And they were all, like I said, blind tested. We were in, you were there, weren't you? Now, there were two people who said the opposite, the total opposite. They said purple, they felt here, and it was Renee and Carrie. Amy. So, sorry if you're listening. They were the total opposite. And then right when they were there, they said, oh my gosh, and they had put it on a piece of paper and turned it in. And when they saw that they were the opposite, they were like, oh my gosh, we picked the total opposite of everybody else. And they were like, but you know what? We just tested last week and we were upside down. They were upside down in their energy, so they felt it in the opposite places. So imagine what everything we're doing on a regular basis, and we could be upside down. Like what things could be if they were right side up. So how do we get right side up? First of all, oils are great. Frankincense on the pituitary or the pineal. This fluoride and all the things that medicines, this can like calcify, and then we're just whatever. But again, the energy, the EMFs and all that will help. But here's the deal, tapping. If you feel like you're upside down or if you're just weak, if you can hit these points. And I started seeing people before and after, and they would test strong after they tap. This is your spine. You just tap right here as if it's your back. Do right here, right here, right here. And I found sometimes that would happen and they would be right back in their energy, and sometimes it was like a 90-something% that they would be back. So I thought, okay, there's something else. Then I added the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our, did the whole thing. Guess what? 100% they would be back, just by doing those two things together. So that should help. Okay, last thing we're going to do before I let you guys get out of here, and then if you do have any questions, we're going to talk about mapping, and I'm going to get Jessica to are you good to do this still? She's like, yeah. Okay, so this is for your family, your health, your divine partner, your business, whatever you choose. But we know there's a ton of scriptures, and I have lots of videos on this that talk about, God in you fully is provision, He's wealth, He's health, He's all the things. Is everyone in here a believer? It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're not, but just out of curiosity. Okay, so if we see God as like the guy up there instead of the guy in here full on, then we're separate, and we're not really taking in that He's like doing all this stuff through us. And there's a ton of scriptures that talk about how He's in us, through us, all around us. He's working through us. He's the energy in us. The word energy is used so many times in Scripture that I did not see until the last year, and now I see it everywhere. And it's just, if you go in the Greek and the Hebrew, you'll see it. This heart is the most electric part of your entire body. As a matter of fact, it's 400,000 times stronger than your will. And your will is 400,000 times stronger than your spirit. Your electrical is more stronger than any organ in your body. And anything that you feel or speak creates like a current or a sound or a frequency, just like the oils. And it affects all of your chemistry. It affects all of your blood. It goes out into your biofield. And you will pick up stuff in someone's field. There are different oils that we can do to change the biofield. I'll give you a list. Some of you may have been at the rally. But most people have about a 15-inch circumference. Horses have 350 feet. Dolphins even further. But anyone ever have a horse before? Nobody's had a horse? You can be like driving in to go see your horse if he's in a stall or something, and they know you're coming already, and they're just like ready. But frequency of animals, the cats when they purr is 157 megahertz. We're 62, 63 or whatever on a healthy adult day. If you start getting lower than that, that's when dis-ease can happen. And so coffee can bring you down. Debbie Downer can bring you down. Going to Starbucks with Debbie Downer is a double dip. It's like you can, and then oil, bring your oils when you go to Starbucks. I mean, I'm not against Starbucks. I go there too many times a week, and I'm doing a fast starting Monday. God, that just sounds terrible, but I am doing a Starbucks fast. But coffee can bring you, when we've tested people, it'll take 3 days for frequency to come back after you've had a sip of coffee or just held it. So I'm glad that you're not drinking coffee for 5 years. That's awesome. But if you apply the oils, within 12 seconds, the frequency rises up. Now, peppermint's like 98, lavender's 118, helichrysum is like 157, rose oil is 320 megahertz. That's the highest. All of them have a different frequency. Thoughts have frequency. Music has frequency. Colors have frequency. Food, alive food, has really, really high frequency. So when you're doing all the high frequency things, then your body is in optimal health. And you are like functioning really high. You're doing great. You're in a joyful, whatever, and things are going smooth. But when you can, watch the news, or has anyone ever got on the phone with someone who's just like, and you're just like, I want a nap right now, like, or you see it on caller ID and you're like, not today, you're just like, I'm not doing it. I mean, that'll be later, or a text or whatever. So, I worked in cardiac rehab in Rapides General, and the surgeons would talk about the electric heart and how they would see the fire and the current of the blue. And, we know that the law of attraction is there. I always thought it was super new age until I started really studying the science and realizing that we are electric and that there is something to that. And you're only going to get a match to whatever you're thinking, feeling, or whatever. So if there's a code to, divine health, and you're remembering divine health, and you're talking about divine health, and you're speaking divine health, and, I am God's divine health in me. I'm fully God supported. I am whatever you choose. I am the frequency of finances. I am, the source code in me of finances is fully God supported. I'm trying to remember some of them. God in me, this or whatever. If we can like remember, and I mean remember in the sense of remember, that He is in us fully doing these things, and we're talking about it, thinking about it, and feeling it. That's the alignment, or the witness. It says, where two or more are gathered in my name, there I will be. And so it's really it's a discipline to keep your mind in the positive. It's discipline even to talk about positive things. My mom always said, if you don't have nothing nice to say, what? Don't say nothing at all, right? So truth. And then you got some people who may say all the right things, but something's up, and that goes back to the scripture. It's like we can speak with the tongue of angels and men, but if you don't have love, you're nothing. you're a clanging, noisy cymbal. And some of y'all probably been around some cymbals, some noisy cymbals before, and you're like, but they're saying all the right things. What happens is, if you're thinking one thing, whether it's positive or negative, and you're saying something else, whether it's positive or negative, if you're giving out mixed signals, then you can only get a match to mixed signals. And you will stay in the purgatory that you're in, the energetic purgatory of not seeing the miracles. But when this and this and this is in alignment with remembering him fully in us, and we're speaking those things that are not as though they are, and we're believing it, and we're feeling like it already happened, then that code goes out, and it comes out here, and God and the angels and everybody says, okay, let's match that. And they bring the code to match that exactly. So we're going to do a couple. I'm going to give you some oils here that will help with the alignment, and some of them you probably may have, like highest potential, believe, where are they? Oh, here's a whole chart of the frequency. Do you guys have this? Maybe I could run it off, but it's Panaway, Aroma Life, all of them. Okay, so here we got awaken, envision, finance, field, clarity, abundance, fitness, joy, peace and calming, fun, transformation, common sense, grow, magnify your purpose, faith. All of these are specific oils that Gary formulated at a specific frequency to keep your biofield and your organs and your cells all in alignment with that code. And that goes out into your biofield, and then you get a match. Now, if you're talking trash and then trying to, if you have a bill and you're putting on finances and believe, but you're telling everybody, I don't have the money for the bill, and then you go to bed at night and you're like, I still don't have the money for the bill, cancel, then the energy code goes, well, it must be really important that she doesn't have the money for the bill. It takes you literal, and it's gonna, whatever you focus on, you make room for. So everything that we're doing and thinking and saying, we have to be super, super careful. The scripture says we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of our God, and we take captive every imagination that doesn't line up with God, and we make it obedient. How do we make it obedient? We replace it right away with something else. So if you get anything in your head that's like, I don't have the bill, cancel, clear. You want to clear that energy. Then you're like, I am provision. I am God supported right now. I am God supported now and always. I am permanent provision now and always. So is my family. So is my thriving, harmonious family. I am divine health. I am now permanent divine health in all ways, in all my cells, whatever you choose, whatever feels good. There's tons of really great decrees in the I am books over here, but we're going to do one. Now, once you put these oils on, this will help program you as far as your biocode, but then you got to keep this in check and this in check, right? I mean, either like zip it and replace, reprogram, remind, or, go in a coma or something, cancel. So, but as you use these, then on top of that, you're going to want to use things that are grounding, like myrtle, cedarwood, spruce, galbanum, what's some other grounding ones? Grounding. Grounding's one. Patchouli, Idaho blue spruce, northern lights. Here's a whole list of this stuff right here that are grounding.
Present time.
What's that? Present time is a good one, to stay in the present, because you know where stress comes from? Either being in the future or being in the past. When we are present and we focus on now, most people will be worried about things that will never, ever happen. And Benjamin Franklin said something about that. And Dr. Phil said the best way to predict the future is to look at the past, right? But Abraham Lincoln said the best way to predict the future is to create it. And we actually get to create and co-author our world. So we're going to do a demonstration. I'll let you guys go to sleep, and you guys can imagine good things. And if you have any questions, you can come ask me after. But let's get you up here, Jessica.
Oh, I gotta get up there?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So you guys can, yes. So I'm going to have you sit right here. You got it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do it for me.
No, you're going to sit
Oh,
here.
dang.
Draw something in the center. What's your center? I want to make sure.
Is it real?
This is Jessica.
Oh, hey.
She's the keto winner two
Oh, my
times in a row. 50 pounds, y'all, she's lost in 40-something days or something crazy. Yes, no sugar. So you're going to draw a heart right here.
Oh, my face is red. You got me blushing.
So, and this will be quick, and y'all just like stay with me. So, what do you choose to? What's your outcome? What do you choose your highest outcome? Anything less than your highest choice will contain self-sabotage. So don't say I want to be silver. Want to be is consent to lack. So choose the highest thing you can be. I am permanent royal crown diamond or better, or I am my divine partner, or I am divine health, or what, only voice your choice.
Well, I have several, actually.
Do one.
Okay. Well, I'm here for Young Living, so
Okay.
I'll do that.
So I am royal crown diamond or better, because that could change tomorrow. That's royal crown diamond is the highest right now, but they could redo the thing, cancel. So, and I say in Young Living, because there could be like, isn't there an alcohol royal crown diamond or something like? Let's not be that. Energy is very specific. The more specific you could be, and the more imagination and feelings you could put to it, the faster it is. So I am royal crown diamond in Young Living or better now and always. Why do I say now and always? Because Peter in the Bible, when Jesus came to him, to all the disciples, he said, "Who do they say I am?" And Peter's like, "You're the Messiah." And they're like, "Yay." And 3 sentences later, he had to say, "Get behind me, Satan." It's the same dude because he said something really dumb. Now, no judgment, but I'm just saying. And by the way, that whole sentence, "Get behind me, Satan," isn't even in the Bible. If you look at what it really says, the actual words of what's said is, "Stop thinking like that. Get rid of that thought form." Interesting, right? Peter, stop thinking about that. So change your mind. If you get some weird stuff in your head, you're the only one who can change your mind. You have to make a mental discipline. The word discipline comes from disciple. So as we become disciplined in our words and in our words and in our thoughts, then that changes this. And then as the heart changes, this goes out, and then we only get a match. You only ever get a match. If you see anything that doesn't line up in your world, then there's an inside job here that still has to get pure and remember. So, I am royal crown diamond in Young Living or better. Now draw a line out. So, this is what you do. You get your middle, and then after you get your middle, Julie, you go, what's new and different for me?
Jules.
Hey, Joy. Joy, I've inboxed you. Go check your inbox. I've inboxed you like 3 weeks ago. I owe you the money for the win in the first challenge. So go check. Thank you. Go check it out. All right. So she said, "Go keto, girl."
Hey.
They tied, and I have your gift certificate. Okay. So now, if you can imagine, if you could set your intention in your imagination on it already happening. See, we're all in A. And we're in NA, looking at B. Now we're in B, and we've been in B. We've been here. Now we're looking out past B, way past B, and we're saying, okay, now that I'm in B, the difference between a goal and the imagination, imagination, or pretending, tend to as if it happened. When we're pretending, tending to as if it happened, or imaging your nation, authoring your life, when you're in B, looking out and going, now what am I doing? That biocode goes, oh, and it starts creating, and your chemistry starts flowing as if it happened. Your body relaxes, and different things happen in your body, and then that code comes out. Your limbic system can't tell the difference of reality and TV. Your limbic system can't tell the difference between imagination and it already happening. Your body can't tell. So if you're watching a bad movie and it's scary, your limbic system will respond in fight or flight as if it's happening. If you're in war in Afghanistan, or if you're sitting in your room with blue walls in your very safe house watching anything crazy, it does not know the difference. And it doesn't know the difference between this either. So as you see yourself there and you experience it and you allow yourself and give yourself permission to imagine, that code goes through here, your body starts to heal, and you relax because it's happening, and then you start creating that code, it goes out in the biofield and the match comes. So now that you are Royal Crown Dominion living or better, now and always, what's new and different for you?
Oh,
Ah, la, la, la. She said, I am. Well, tell us first and then tell me. Go ahead.
I'm traveling.
You're traveling. Okay. But
I'm traveling.
So where are you traveling?
Wherever God leads me.
Too vague.
I'm traveling the world.
Oh my God, you're going to go to every single place in the world.
I'm traveling. Dang.
If you have vague dreams, you get a vague biocode match.
I'm traveling the United States. No, I don't want to go just the United
So
States.
you want to go to every freaking, like, hood part of the United States, the dangerous, scary, creepy parts of the United States?
No.
Now look, when you go to a restaurant and the waitress comes up to you and says, what would you like to eat, ma'am? Do you say, food?
Meat.
You know, you might go like, there's 146 items on the menu, ma'am. Can you be more specific? You know, what's faster, food or I like eggs and bacon over easy with a glass of water and, you know, no toast because I'm keto.
Yeah.
That's a lot faster.
Yeah.
So the angels of the air and all of energy that only matches your code is waiting on your specifics so it can go, now we can come in. Instead of this, and then you stay in purgatory. So I am traveling to.
You can pick that place and then you can pick another.
You can
place,
pick.
and then you can pick another place.
Yeah.
It's not like you only get one place.
Yes. Yes. First words. What's in your heart? First words. I'm talking to you.
I know, I'm ignoring you. I'm just thinking.
Your heart knows.
Where would you really like to go and think of?
Faster, hun.
Like Bora Bora or somewhere.
Did you just write travel because other people?
because I want to.
I choose.
I choose to share with others what has been so freely shared with me.
Okay. So I travel to convention.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good start.
Okay. I travel to convention in Utah. That is a good start. You can be specific and put 2018. Who's going to convention? Okay, so you have went to Salt Lake, Utah, and you actually attended convention. Now what's new and different for you?
I've made more connections.
Wait a second. Did you watch her, what she just did?
I took a deep breath.
She took a deep breath. That's always a good sign when you see somebody do this. When you're demonstrating with someone, that's God breathing her. That's called being reborn. She's starting to go there. So I am traveling to convention, and what are you doing now? You already went to the convention. What's next? What are you doing because of that?
I have made newer connections that are going to take me further in my business
Okay, so
and my ministry.
okay. So go ahead and write that down.
Off of here or off of here?
Off of here.
Okay.
So what kind of connections? Be specific, because you can meet some really mean, awful people. And I choose very specific, wonderful, awesome, amazing people that you would meet.
I meet helpful
Helpful,
and loving.
loving. You see where we're going? Like, I don't want just bacon. I want it cooked. Cooked bacon.
Helpful and loving people.
Helpful, loving people. I'm just telling them.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
Helpful, loving people. Okay, and now that you've met helpful, loving people, what's new and different for you?
My business is thriving.
Okay. Is that a question?
No, my business is thriving.
Okay. Your business is thriving. So, body language, she was sitting here and she was using her left hand, which is the female side. This is your work side or your male side, and she was doing this, which is she's regaining her authority. She's taking back her authority. She's taking back her authority. My business is thriving. She's doing it right now in her body and in her imagination. All right, so come on over here after the travel thing. What else are you doing now that you're Royal Crown Diamond or better now in Young Living, always and forever and ever, amen? Isn't that a song? Randy Travis?
Yes, I love Randy. I love old Randy. You got me on thinking about Randy Travis. I am making money.
Okay, making money's illegal.
I am not printing money. I am provision.
I am provision. Awesome.
I am fully funded.
I am fully funded. Good. See how specific? We don't want her to be in jail.
No.
She's-
No,
yeah.
we don't
So
want
I am fully funded. And what? For what?
For lots of things.
Okay, name one.
Would say for my children,
Okay.
for putting more back into what it is I'm doing.
Let's talk about children. So
Okay.
I'm fully funded for my children. And what are your children's names?
Nani and Cooper.
So I'm fully funded for Nania and Cooper.
Nani.
Nani and Cooper. So your kids are fully funded. Now what are they doing?
They're able to be kids and
So what does that mean? They're able to be kids.
they're able to not have to worry about
So
anything.
so not have to worry. Again, if you go to
Not
Piccadilly.
a good way to say that.
Yeah. No. Just for teaching, no judgment. If you go to Piccadilly and there's a buffet and you're like, I don't want that, and I don't want that, and I don't want that. Or you could just go, I choose this, which is faster. So, and God is not a God of what, He's a God of what is, not a God of what isn't. So when she said, would you say they don't have to, or they're not having to worry?
Yeah.
Not having is by a decree to not have. It's staying in not having. So the opposite of that, they have everything they require.
Yes.
They get to be a kid. So what's a way to say they get to be a kid in a way that's conscious language? Yes.
Security.
They are secure.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I heard.
I am secure, and they are secure. Yes, we're all
Okay. So
secure.
actually put that down here that you are secure. I am secure. And my thriving, harmonious family is secure.
Yes.
I say thriving and harmonious just because let's keep it thriving and harmonious.
Yes.
We all know about families who aren't. All right, so what about your team? Come out here. What's your team doing?
They are also thriving.
Okay.
They are
Thriving how?
learning. They're learning. They are growing.
They're getting bigger and fatter.
Expanding in their business. They're on keto, so they're not getting fat.
So they're growing taller.
No, they're they are, I don't know.
remembering. They are awakened,
Yeah, that's good.
and they are helping others awaken. How's that sound? How's that feel?
That's what I want.
That's
So,
what you-
yeah, I
so-
want that for them too. Yeah.
So that's what you are.
That's what I am.
Yes. All right. So go ahead and write that down. So they are awakened. They are awakening other. They're igniting awakening. What else are they doing because of this whole business thriving thing for them each? What else are they doing?
Well, for me, it just kind of trickles down the line. That's what I want. So they're gonna get all.
Let's upgrade want. Want is a state of
That's
not
what
having.
I choose for
Yes.
them. It's the
Okay.
same thing that I choose for myself, which is, education and being able to share, like I said, what was so freely shared with me. So I want the same for them. I choose the same for them.
So what are they doing specifically now that they are awakening others and they're helping others, and what do they get to do? Do you have anybody?
They get freedom. Well, I choose freedom.
So do you have anyone specific when you're thinking about they? Do you have people on your team now?
I mean, I'm on someone's team, but
You're-
I don't have anyone under me.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yet.
how about I experience 10,000 new active leaders in my downline?
Dang.
Are you emotional? You see it in teary eyed. So right out here.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's fun and easy. I experienced 10,000 new active leaders.
Or more.
Or more. When they start doing it on their own, they're there. That's a good sign. I mean, they're here. Because we're in B looking out. So you have 10,000 active leaders in your downline. What are they doing?
I thought we just went over this.
They're awakened. They're awakening
are.
others. But specifically,
They're facilitating miracles.
yes, that's a good one. So, facilitating miracles. I love that. Y'all get the idea?
Oh,
So, y'all can practice this. Y'all may have some decrees of your own or your own maps. You may change up the middle. I suggest getting a book that you keep them in and dating them at the top, because if this hasn't manifested yet, you want to go back and see and figure out, what did you leave out? What was the specific? What can you add to it to bring that into the manifestation? I had a situation where I had a legal situation going on, and then I was choosing for it to be a win-win for everybody, and that it would be fast. And it was 6 months later and had not finished. And one night, it was Sunday night, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, what in the world? Like, I just remembered, I know I mapped this, and this hasn't happened yet, and I choose for it to happen. So I wondered what I mapped, and I went and got my book, and I started out doing this on napkins and papers, and believe me, if you can have one book, then you can go back and see how you did it and what your miracles were and how long it took, because you had it all dated. But I went back, and it was about 6 months ago, and I looked on there, and there was no dates. There was no time. It didn't say now. It would just be that we just do this, and it's quickly. Well, it was Sunday night. I knew the judge wasn't going to sign anything in the middle of the night. And so I put the next day's date at 8 a.m., and the next morning I called the courthouse and asked to speak to their office to see where we were on the paperwork. And the lady was like, well, the judge isn't here. He just left. He's not going to be back for another week. I don't know if he's got, I know he was here for a few minutes, but I don't think he did anything. And, why don't you just call back? And after I talked to like 5 people in a row, and I'm like, can you just check on this thing? Can you just check? It's supposed to be 6 months ago. This is really important, blah, blah, blah. She goes in, she finds the folder of however many on the desk. She opens it up, and it was signed and dated and postmarked with the stamp at 8 a.m. with the date. So I was like, wow, I could have done that 6 months ago. But, you know, and I have about 15 other stories like that where it was just like, you get what you choose. You create it. You get the match. So if you're not seeing this or whatever it is that you're mapping yet, you may choose to go back and rewrite it with a different energy or a different thought form or more specifics or more imagination involved or more feelings involved. You may choose to do the whole thing over like every day for a week until you're programmed to just automatically stay in that. You may choose to do like a board of some kind, like if you want to go to Disney, you cut out Disney pictures and whatever and just have these anchors in you because there's frequency to all of this, and then you stay in that code and then it comes to you. But I'm telling you, we were in this building about a year ago, and my daughter had this wallet. It was $40 in it because she was selling chocolate just like she did. She was so excited because she sold all her chocolate, and she had this new wallet, and she couldn't find it. And we just kept telling her, you know, well, now that you found your wallet, what's new different for you? I mean, we were up till 10 o'clock all searching and looking. We talked to Joey, and everyone had seen the wallet. We had not been home all day. And, you know, I talked to her, and we mapped, and I was like, you know, we didn't even write it. We just did it in our head. Well, now that your wallet is here, we know where. She was like, it's in my room. It's on my bed. I'm feeling relaxed. I feel better. I'm happy. You know, all these things. And she went into that place. And when we got home, she believed it. I mean, she went like straight into her room. And we're all forgot about it. We're like making food. We're packing stuff up. You know, we left and we're just like taking boxes in the house and we're getting something to drink and we're, you know, whatever. It was about 40 people who came over. And she comes out and she's like, I got it. And I'm like, what? And she's like, my wallet was on my bed, on my pillow. And we all just about fell over because we were like, how did that happen? But everything is light. Everything is frequency. And God just manifested that wallet right back on her pillow. And I have like a million stories like this, and I'm not exaggerating. So you get what you choose, and you get what you choose, and you get what you choose, and like you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. So, you guys have any questions before we wrap up? I know you're like super tired. We can do more Q&A tomorrow. Yes. Outcome mapping or awaken imagination. This book talks a lot about the scriptures that support that. Now, this guy, Neville, there are a couple things that I don't agree with having to do with his belief system. I mean, he uses scripture, and it's just a little bit different from what I believe, and there's no judgment on that. I'm just saying, like, if you read this and you're like, oh, does she believe that? Probably not. But there's a lot of stuff in here if you can just sift through, and like he talks about, the word will not return void, but it'll accomplish all the things that I please, and it shall prosper. Another really good one is the game of life. I do agree with everything she says. The game of life. These are on the website. And then definitely, if you're looking about changing your whole world, if we can concentrate on the words that we're speaking that have frequency, and speaking exactly what we choose and voicing our choice instead of saying things like, I can't, I won't, I hope for, I wish, and consenting to struggle and striving and I'm trying. It's like, well, what are you doing? I'm trying. It's like, okay, well, guess what? You'll just keep trying then. Because try to get out of that chair. Anybody try to get out of your chair right now? You can, trying is consent to not doing it yet. And so you could try to do your business, you could try to get healthy, you could try to stop drinking coffee, or you can say, I drink water. Don't even say things like, I don't drink, or I'm not, those are all death wishes. And this part, say what you are, only voice your choice, because your subconscious is literal, and it runs everything. So if you're speaking things, your subconscious is listening to you, your body's listening to you, and it's like a computer. You type up this eloquent, beautiful story, and then you hit the delete button. The computer doesn't go, oh, Amy didn't mean that. She was just messing. Like it goes, okay, she hit delete. So when we say things like, I don't have, or I struggle, or, that's why I say cancel clear, and I cancel clear that, because your subconscious goes, okay. And when we say things like, well, I just can't do this anymore, you know, it's like cancel, cancel, cancel. Cancer is the decree or the frequency of I've got to, but I can't. And saying things like I'm done or I'm just not going to do this anymore, cancel, cancel. Those are all death wishes that inside they go, okay, and they start, your body starts adjusting. And so just super, I mean, they have done science on this after science. So this book will go through a ton of different words and things that we say, like my kids, they'll listen to people and they'll be at, you know, wherever, a restaurant, and they'll listen to someone say like, oh my God, I was dying laughing, cancel, or I was just, so-and-so just killed me, cancel. It's like, we're all just like, cancel, cancel, cancel. We're clearing for everybody, you know. And so, and even if you say it in your head, you know, it doesn't matter. It's frequency. So, I mean, it does matter. Everything matters. All you think and all you say matters. It creates. It manifests. So, any other questions before we go?
Put a thing you said for the phone, or can you stick it on your phone?
Or your case?
Or the
Yep.
case?
These little doodads, and there's smaller ones or bigger ones. These have higher frequency. They go on iPads.
Do you put all the stickers on the phone, or just one for each?
Just one. Yep. So doors open at 8. Again tomorrow. Y'all rest. Bless you. Thank you for your time. And we'll meet tomorrow. And I'll see all y'all at lunch again. And if you choose to be here, we're going to talk about that. All right. Bye.